If you've ever come across Mother Teresa's quote on the paradox of love and hurt, or like me, have been bitten by the heartache of love, you may already feel where this video is taking us. It's a journey. Let that sit with you, because if you've ever loved deeply, the kind of love that stretches your soul open, then you know exactly what she meant. Maybe you've loved someone who didn't see you, or gave your energy to people who only know how to take. Maybe you stayed too long, believing your love could fix it all. We've all been there. This message is for the givers, the feelers, the ones with big hearts and tired spirits, because while every love you've ever felt in your heart felt so real, pure and sacred, not every energy was meant to stay. And if at some point you begin to doubt yourself sacred to love again, building up those walls, questioning whether true love exists, this is your soul remembering what it deserves. This is your invitation to reclaim your soul. Message from the heart. Love leaves a vibration in us all. Not all of it was gentle. Some of it broke us open. But was it still love? I think so. However, there are people whose memory lingers in our minds, like perfume on our favourite clothes. We normally don't choose to remember them. Our heart just does. Our brain stores these memories. Our body keeps the scores. Sometimes we confuse the intensity of a connection with its truth, the intensity of a connection with its destiny. And that's where it gets tricky, because intensity doesn't always mean alignment. Some people come into our lives to trigger our trauma. They are not meant to stay, but to wake us up, to show us where we still abandon ourselves, to remind us where our energy leaks and where our boundaries dissolve in the name of love. But not every powerful connection is meant to last. Not every shared moment is designed to become a lifetime memory. We remember them not because they're meant to return, but because something in us still needs to be reclaimed. They were soul openers, not soulmates. There's a difference. One teaches you how deeply you can feel. The other teaches you how gently you deserve to be held. And often, we confuse the two. Some people come to awaken us, and some people, they show up in our lives to drain us. They come with a need. They come with chaos. And you, being the healer, the giver, the listener, the soft place to land. You hold them tight because you care. And they drain you, draining your energy until you have nothing left for yourself. These are energy drainers, not because they're evil, but because they are unhealed, checking in and out, leaving a trail of trauma behind, and you are not their healer forever. Personal reflection. Let me tell you a story. There was a time I loved someone so completely I forgot where I ended and they began. You know that kind of love, the kind that wraps itself around your ribs like ivy, beautiful but quietly suffocating. At first it felt like magic. They saw me, or at least I thought they did. In a world that often felt cold and distant, their attention felt like sunlight on skin I hadn't realized was frozen. I gave so much of myself, texted first, checked in, stayed up late talking them through their pain, celebrated their wins, whispered through their breakdowns, held their heaviness like it was mine to carry. But somewhere along the way, I became a background character in my own life. I started dimming my needs just to keep their comfort bright. I'd silence my intuition, that aching voice in the middle of the night, just to keep the connection alive. I confused anxiety with love, and waiting with loyalty. I remember one moment so clearly. I was sitting at the edge of my bed, phone in hand, rereading our last conversation. They hadn't replied in hours. Again. And I felt this quiet panic rise in my chest like I had done something wrong. I checked my tone, my words. second-guessed my own truth. And in that moment, I heard it. The silence was louder than anything they ever said. That was the beginning of my remembering, the beginning of reclaiming. Letting go wasn't sudden. It was 1,000 small heartbreaks stitched together with realization. I didn't leave because I stopped loving them. I left because I started loving myself more. Because I was tired of being the only one pouring from a cup that was bone dry. Tired of performing peace when my spirit was screaming for rest. It hurt. God, it hurt. But that pain became my teacher. And in that heartbreak, I finally met myself. Never easy, but worth it. Emotional and philosophical insight. When your soul feels tired, it's not because you're weak. It's because you've been giving energy to things not aligned with your becoming. Again, some love comes into our lives like sacred mirrors. They teach us what we desire, what we fear, and what still needs healing. But not every mirror is meant to stay on the wall. There is a difference between soul love and emotional attachment. Soul love expands you. It doesn't take your breath away in a bad way. It teaches you how to breathe deeper. It grounds you, awakens you, nourishes your becoming. But attachment clings out of fear, of being alone, of not being enough. It asks you to shrink, to earn, to perform for affection. And maybe that's what you've been doing. Pouring love into someone's hands, hoping they'd finally see your worth. But your worth was never meant to be proven, only remembered. You are not here to be someone's emotional scaffolding. You are not here to be chosen only when it's convenient. Boundaries are not punishments. They are sacred acts of self-love. They say, my energy matters, my heart matters, I matter. And to the part of you that is tired, worn out, doubting whether you'll ever be loved the way you love, let me speak directly to you. You are not too much. You are just not meant to be drained. Practical takeaway. So, how do we begin to reclaim our energy without closing our heart, without losing empathy, without hating, without worrying, without envy, without judgment, and without resentment? First, we must recognize how we feel, what we feel, and how where we live or people in our lives make us feel. Only after that can we begin to notice the signs. For instance, some signs of an energy drainer from mindful practices and behavioral psychology include: you feel anxious after every interaction. You overanalyze everything you say or do. You're constantly making space for them, but they rarely show up for you. You feel emotionally hungover, even when they didn't do anything obvious. You walk on eggshells to keep the peace. You question your worth around them. You do more giving than receiving. Therefore, if you recognize yourself in any of these situations, it's okay. Self-awareness, as they say, is the beginning of power. It starts a bold move. Second, begin the gentle process of letting go, not out of bitterness, but out of truth. As the author Julieanne O'Connor once said, the sooner we let go of holding on, the sooner we can hold on to the beauty of what's unfolding before us. Nothing was ever meant to stay the same forever. That's right, absolutely nothing. But if letting go is too emotionally hard for you to do, for whatever reason, you can let it be so you can move on. As we are reminded by Jon Kabat-Zinn, the American professor emeritus of medicine, best known for his pioneering work in the field of mindfulness and its application in healthcare, that sometimes it's not a matter of letting go. You would if you could. So instead of let it go, we should probably say let it be. Therefore, whichever way you decide let it go or let it be, reclaim your soul is what you're meant to do. Here are a few soul practices to help. Use a cord-cutting visualization. Close your eyes. Imagine a golden thread connecting you and that person. Then picture yourself gently untying it, not with anger but with peace. You're not cutting them off. You're reclaiming your energy. Take the following journaling prompt. What parts of myself did I give away in this connection? This can be a serious question to ask in order to untangle. Another one could be, what part of me is asking to return home? Daily affirmations you can say to yourself regularly. I am allowed to release what drains me. My energy is sacred and I guard it with love. I do not chase love, I embody it. I call my soul back to me right now. Develop these habits and you're on your way to a healthy life. Closing words, a call to reclaim your soul. Do these things I have taught you in this video often. Remember, you're not doing it to punish them or anyone. You're doing it to come back home, to you. Because every love you felt was real, no denying it, but not every one of them was meant to stay. Also, you are not too much. You were just pouring into the wrong vessel, and you have learned. Life is a movie to experience, experiences that come with great lessons. So now is your time to call your soul back home, to awaken, to reclaim, to rise. And that journey begins with reclamation. Finally, if this message spoke to you, please share it with a purpose, because someone else you know might need to hear this to reclaim their soul from abusive relationships. You can also leave me a comment in the comments section. I listen. Nothing serves the calling of a soul better than authentic connections. Let your soul speak. Let your humanity reflect its divine light. And above all, protect your energy. Reclaim your soul. You are not here to be drained. You are here to shine as others do. Until next time, stay rooted, stay rising, continue reclaiming your light.